Hello and welcome to yet another spooky story video. Oh, what are you doing, Beba? What are you doing? You wanna come say hi? You wanna come say hi? I have a special visitor. Oh, she's camera shy. Oh, okay, hold on. She's crawling under the table with her butt out. You can't cave behind my back. There's nowhere for you to go. I thought it'd be fun to read some spooky Reddit stories. Okay, and Beba might join us for some spookiness. Oh, yep, she's gonna join us. I'll just say the names of the Reddit posters in the video if you want to go check them out yourself. And I haven't read these yet, so this will be fun. I'll be just as surprised as you. Okay, I'm on r/ghost stories. This first one, it's called, oh. Come on, y'all. This first one is called My Daughter's Imaginary Friend. In 2013, my wife and I divorced, and we both moved into separate homes. The divorce went well, and we are still good friends to this day, partly because we have a daughter together. That was a weird sound. We agreed to split custody over our daughter, and I rented an old house in a historic district in the city where we live. It was a very pretty home, built in 1935, but kept up very well. I would have my daughter 2 weeks at a time, and she had a bedroom in the back of the house. She was 3 years old at the time, and I kept noticing her talking to her friend. One day I found her in a little closet talking to someone, and I remember her saying she was talking to another little girl named Betty. They're always named Betty. I have no idea where she heard the name Betty, as she was only 3 years old, but I just chalked it all up to a child's vivid imagination. Keep in mind, I am a single dad to a little girl. I really have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to dressing, hair, or just little girl stuff in general. Her mother is good at that stuff, but not me. I put my daughter to bed one night after her bath. I remember brushing her hair that night, but that was all I did. The very next morning, her mom, oh my God, I already know what's coming. She's gonna wake up and her hair's gonna be braided, right? Okay. The very next morning, her mom came to pick her up from my house, and my daughter was just waking up. Her mom went back to her bedroom to find my daughter's hair was fixed into 2 perfect French braids. That's actually kind of cute. That's a very harmless, imaginary friend ghost thing. Her mom was real proud of me at first that I had done her hair so cute, but I told her I didn't and couldn't do that. I can't even braid her hair, much less do perfect French braids. We asked our daughter how her hair got fixed, and she told us that Betty had done it during the night. I broke the contract on the rental agreement and moved out within the next month. Ooh! Yeah, me too. I would do that too. Ooh! But I do, it's like a sweet haunting. You know what I mean? Like they're friends. But that's terrifying. Next up. This next one is called My Nurse Was a Ghost, and it's by Lola Bunny 3000. In 2020, at the beginning of COVID, I had just given birth. At this time, I could only have one other person in the room with me my entire stay at the hospital. Of course, my kid's father was there, but like the 3rd day, he left to clean up our house and get everything prepared for me and baby. I had gotten sick and had a C-section, so I had to stay for about 4 to 5 days. Well, while he was away, a nurse named Kelly said she would be helping me throughout the day and spending time with me so I don't feel lonely while Dad is gone. I couldn't really hold my baby due to me being sick and the pain from the C-section, so my nurses would come in every time it was time to feed. I noticed when they came in, they wouldn't acknowledge Kelly, and she would go to the farthest part of the room and she would tell me, I'm just gonna get out of the way. Now, she did tell me that she didn't specialize in what they did. She was just for comfort, so I didn't question anything. The entire day, she was so helpful and encouraging to me. I really believe I would have broken down if she wasn't in there with me. She was such a sweetheart. Well, after about 5 or 6 hours, she told me she had to leave and that she would come visit me before her shift was over to see how I was doing. She hugged me and blew a kiss at my baby and walked out of the room. Later that night, Dad came back and he was very upset. He had told me some stuff happened with his mom and that he was sorry he took so long. I was upset, but I told him a nurse named Kelly kept me company. As I'm telling him about her, my nurse is changing my sheets and she's like, "Who is Kelly?" I explained, and she said that nobody named Kelly was in my room or working that day. So I instantly thought about those women who would pretend to be nurses and kidnap children. Ooh, I don't even think I would think about that if I was in her shoes. That's a scary idea. But my nurse told me that I may be hallucinating, and she told my doctor. I talked to my doctor, and he said the same thing. Well, a couple of hours later, a nurse that I didn't recognize came into my room and said, "I know this might sound crazy, but everyone on the floor is talking about you seeing Kelly." I said, "Yeah, she was here with me for like 7 hours today. She helped out a lot." We're smiling and laughing while I was telling her about Kelly and how sweet and funny she was. Then she pulled up her phone and showed me pictures of her and Kelly that looked like to be maybe early 2000s. No way. Whoa, okay. I was smiling knowing that I wasn't hallucinating. Then she sat down and told me Kelly died over 10 years ago from domestic violence with her boyfriend. Oh, that's terrible. I wasn't too shocked because my entire life I've been dealing with paranormal, but I got chills because I never had an encounter this deep. Well, the lady gave me a hug and started crying, saying, "Now I know that she is okay." Since that day, I've been wondering, why did Kelly come in my room and help me? I kind of wish I could see her again. I love that she was still there, like helping out and doing what she loved and providing comfort to new mothers. That's crazy. Wow, I'm glad that the nurse was there to like validate her, because like what if it was all new nurses and they had no idea who Kelly was and the doctor had no idea? Oh, that's insane. This is another hospital one. Also, sorry I'm like in the darkness. It's nighttime and I'm using my computer as the lighting for this. Okay, this one is by Lil_Grizz B. And it's called I Clean a Hospital at Night. For context, I got this job like 5-ish months ago. I'm in charge of cleaning all common areas, waiting rooms, hallways, office spaces, etc. of the 3-story non-inpatient hospital. I have a couple of coworkers who clean other areas, surgical centers, urgent care, pediatrics, etc. So I don't see them very often. Last month, I had just gotten to the first floor and started my route with cleaning the bathrooms. The bathrooms face a hallway with a waiting room off to the left and some office spaces to the right. I just finished the first bathroom and was heading into the second when I noticed what looked like a young woman peeking around a corner by the office spaces. No. Absolutely the fuck not. I have like a few things that really freak me out. Some things like just don't, like the concept of them. But like someone peeking out at you, child, adult, shadow figure, like whatever it is, I don't care. When it's peeking and like trying to like play with you, I'm just walking out of the building and then I'm setting it on fire. I did a double take and she wasn't there. I was genuinely confused as none of my coworkers looked similar to her. She had an uncanny valley look. Nope, that was worse. That just made it worse. That's my nightmare. This is my nightmare. And she was in front of a completely white wall, so it's not like my brain could have seen a poster and humanized it. Either way, I kind of just ignored it and continued my route. Not even 10 minutes later, I was bending over to change a trash bag facing the wall when my shirt was completely pulled away from my back and dropped. I spun around hoping it was one of my coworkers playing a joke, but nobody was there. No. I was super freaked out, kind of yelled, "I didn't say you could touch me," finished my job, and left. I haven't had anything even close happen to me again. No clue what it was, but it was creepy as F. No, that's my nightmare, because you're there alone. Or like, I guess she's like with people, but they're on the other side of the freaking hospital. And so she can't like go to them. If like imagine that thing like peeked out and then it like started chasing you down the hall on all fours. Like, and then you have to like, there's no one coming for you. And like, you can't call 911. What are they going to do? Oh, that's a nightmare. That's a nightmare. Okay. I hate the concept of peeking. I really do despise it. Because like, what are you peeking for? Like, you could just be standing there, but you're peeking. So you're doing it on purpose. You're playing with someone. You're purposely like creeping them out and like acting like innocent. It's weird. I hate it. Okay, next. I love a good haunted house story. This is a haunted house story. This is by Patient Zero Bro. And it's called I Lived in a Haunted Historic Home for Only a Year. It was bad. Here we go. So this was when I was about 16. My family and I moved into a registered historic home that was 240 years old. Goddamn. It was dated around when our town was founded. Yeah, that's old as hell. When you first walked into the house, you felt it. It was like an ominous cloud that hung over everything. The first experience I ever had was in the parlor that used to hold wakes in it. I was sitting at the computer, we converted it into an office, and I kept hearing loud noises directly above me. The room above me was my bedroom. I was the only one home. I looked around to make sure the dogs were with me and they weren't tearing anything apart. I initially ignored it and it subsided. After about an hour, it started up again with more violence. It sounded like someone had moved my entire wardrobe across the bedroom floor. No. I ran up the staircase, but by the time I got to the second landing, the sound stopped. No. Okay, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Annabelle, but like one of the worst scenes in that movie to me is the banging on the door. It's like Annabelle's supposed to be banging on it, but it's like, it sounds like a huge like person is banging, like with all their weight against the door, and it's like a doll, and so you're like, how the fuck is that happening? And it's terrifying. Like it just sounds like really strong, like like the door is gonna come off the hinges. Anyway, that is so scary. So I don't like the fact that this ghost can move furniture. Okay, I ran up the staircase, but by the time I got to the second landing, the sound stopped. I barged into my room and it was completely silent and no furniture had been moved. No. Second event was a lot more terrifying. It was about 3 a.m. I woke up to the sound of grown men arguing outside of my bedroom door. No. The catch? The only male that lived with us was my 14-year-old brother. I jumped out of bed and flung the door open to catch it. Nothing. I got back in bed after I stupidly locked the door as if it would stop anything. It started again. This time I went to my grandmother's and brother's separate rooms. They were both asleep and all TVs off. The toilet down the hall flushed itself and I ran back to my room. Hell no. Third event is where we decided to move. My brother was taking a shower upstairs. While he showered, a clear, perfect imprint of another set of feet appeared in front of him. Small things had happened in between those events, but they really stood out the most. And I would move too, and I would move too. Who is witch cackling out my window? I really hope y'all heard that. What the F? Ew, I didn't like that. Why do weird things keep happening out my window? I want Kitty to come back. Okay, this is a skinwalker story, so if you're not into that, don't listen. But this is just Reddit/scary stories now that we're on. It's called A True Story from My Childhood That Made Me Believe in Skinwalkers, and it's by entertainer and like number 5745. A lot of strange things happened to me when I was just a boy, but this was the weirdest. I was 11 at the time. I was about 11 years old, and it was past midnight, 12:30 a.m. to be exact. My parents were asleep, but my cousin, who was 18 at the time, was still up. I had to take out the trash, so I brought my dog Barry with me. He was mostly black with a few white spots, always alert and always by my side. The trash can was only a 30-second walk from the front door. I tossed the bag in, then turned around and called for Barry, but there was nothing. No footsteps, no tags jingling, just silence. I turned on my flashlight and looked around. He wasn't there. Confused, I started walking back toward the house. That's when I heard it. Heavy, fast, pounding footsteps coming up behind me. No, this is reminding me of the Annabelle thing now, but this is like the footstep equivalent, because why are they heavy? I whipped around and saw something I'll never forget. Charging at me was something completely black, darker than the night around it, like it absorbed light itself. A massive black figure running straight at me. It wasn't a dog or a pig or a horse, but somehow it looked like all three. Ew! Its body was wrong, just wrong. Its movement too fast, too heavy. This is what I'm saying. This is the stuff that like freaks me out. It made no sound except for the thunder of its steps. No matter how fast I ran, it always felt like it was 2 steps behind me. This feeling of dread and fear instantly shot through me as I sprinted to the door, heart racing, flung it open, and slammed it shut behind me. I sat there on the floor, gasping, trying to process what just happened. Then it hit me. Oh shoot, I left Barry outside. I start crying as I think of what that thing could have done to my innocent dog. I was scared to death, but I couldn't leave him out there. So I stood up, ready to go back out to find him, heart racing. until Barry came walking toward me from his kennel inside the house. Inside, calm and normal. Hey! Another kitty has come to save us from this scary story. Thank goodness. Inside, calm and normal. He had never left the house. He was inside the whole time. Whatever I called to out there, it wasn't my dog. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. No. This is on r/ghost stories. We're back to that. And it's by Sleepless-Tarsier. It's called Moved into a House with a Cemetery. 6 weeks later, we left. When I was about 5 years old, we moved into an antebellum farmhouse in rural Alabama that had this old family cemetery in the backyard. The cemetery was surrounded by a decrepit wooden fence and had a dozen or so tombstones that looked like they were falling over. Ooh! My bedroom was on the second floor, and my bunk bed gave me a perfect view of the cemetery out back. One day, while my father was at work, my mother took my sister and went to the grocery store. I was left alone in my bedroom upstairs. For context, this was the 80s, y'all. A while after they left, I heard my grandmother's voice call my name from the living room. My grandmother lived in the next state over, so okay. What? No. So I was surprised to hear her. I thought she must have come to check out our new house. Right, for sure. I would lock my door and set the house on fire. I bolted downstairs to the living room, expecting to see her, but nobody was there. I peeked through the blinds to check the driveway, and there were no cars. I ran upstairs and continued playing with toys, not thinking much about what happened. Okay, I hate this because I always hear stories about like people mimicking the ones that you love. And it's like, it could be a skinwalker, it could be like some entity or whatever. And that freaks me out so bad. And I think it low-key goes back to my fear of Coraline. I fucking hate Coraline. It scared me so bad, like the other mother. Hated it. Anyway, and just like not knowing who is like the real person that you know, if they're imitating them, that freaks me out so bad. And that like moment where it's like revealed and like they have one expression and then it like turns into a different one once they know you know. Like anything like that in movies or shows is so freaking freaky to me. Okay, anyway. A few nights later, I woke up in the middle of the night. When I opened my eyes, there was a silhouette of a person standing at the head of my bed. The silhouette was almost like a light blue version of the white noise on old TV sets, but I could see through it, if that makes any sense at all. I went to scream for my mom, but nothing came out. Ooh, this sounds like sleep paralysis. I tried over and over again, but my voice wouldn't work. All the while, the silhouetted figure stayed there. I don't remember what happened after that, and I never talked about it afterward. A couple of weeks after this experience, my parents packed up our things and we moved to a different house in the next town. My parents have passed away since then, and my sister was too young to remember anything. So now I'm stuck with these memories and a lot of questions. As an adult, I wondered if my parents had experienced anything, and that is why they left so quickly. Honestly, perhaps, because like I wouldn't tell, if I was in the parent shoes, I wouldn't tell my kids because I wouldn't want them to be freaked out if they're not like registering that anything scary is happening. Kind of like in Bly Manor, how like, spoiler alert, but like at the end, like the kids don't remember anything that happened, and it's like, you know, they were literally getting like picked up by ghosts and like carried around. So okay. I would understand if they did this. As an adult, I wondered if my parents had experienced anything, and that is why they left so quickly. If there are any paranormal aficionados out here, any idea of what the silhouetted figure could have been? What about my grandmother's voice calling my name when she wasn't there? What was that about? Okay, update. Ooh, update, fun. Okay, I called my grandmother. She thinks the house was in Grove Hill. She doesn't remember being told about anything strange happening. I tried looking up cemeteries in that town, but I couldn't find the one that matched my memory. That's kind of freaky too. I don't like that. Who knows if the house is even still standing? Also, someone posted about static people, and that is 100% for sure what I saw. If anyone knows anything about them, please share. I've never heard of static people before. What is that? I'll have to look into that. We'll circle back. Okay. This might be our last one, or maybe second to last. This one is by Kitty-Bacon13. It's on r/ghost stories, and it's called My Most Haunted Experience. I was around 6 years old when this happened, and even as a 25-year-old, it still stuck with me. We used to live in this incredibly haunted house when I was in elementary school. My mom did her best to try and shelter, parentheses, gaslight us about it because she didn't want to scare us, but all it did was make me feel like I wasn't believed anytime I came to her about seeing something. That I hate that. I had a problem sleeping alone despite having my own room. So often I would sleep with either my grandmother or my mom depending on the night. That night, me and my 2 brothers decided to sleep with our Nana, so we were all squished in the bed. That's cute. I woke up in the middle of the night needing to use the bathroom, so I carefully got up and went to the bathroom. Afterwards, I realized that it would be pointless to go back to my Nana's room, since no doubt one of my brothers would have rolled over and taken my spot. So I decided to go back to my own room for the rest of the night. No, shove your brother over. As I got to the doorway, I froze because it was pitch black and I had this sudden fear wash over me out of nowhere. Nope. Whenever I get those feelings, I just trust them and I dip. Then I heard a deep, unnatural voice say, "Go back to sleep?" No! It scared me so bad that I bolted right back into my Nana's room and launched myself on the bed. I still don't know what that was. Both of my brothers were still in bed when I ran back, and our dad did not live with us. It's usually a hit or miss if I'm believed when I tell people this story because it sounds too cheesy, and it doesn't help that when creepypasta became a thing, I got told that it was Jeff the Killer as a joke because he says that same line. I have a ton of stories from that house alone, but I wanted to share my biggest one first. I don't like that. Absolutely not. I wonder like how many of these, because like I like to believe people like when they have experiences and they like stand by them. I'm like, sure, like you experience that. But there are like things, whenever people say like I woke up and I couldn't move, my first thought is always sleep paralysis. Like the skeptic in me is always sleep paralysis because I've had sleep paralysis before and I know like how freaking terrifying it is. And like you can have hallucinations. I've had hallucinations before when I've had sleep paralysis. It's really fucking scary. And sometimes you can't move. Sometimes you can't speak. I've had that happen. I was late to class once in college because I took a nap and I had sleep paralysis. And I woke up and I could only move my pinky. And I couldn't like move. Well, I didn't wake up, but like I was conscious and I could look around, but I could only move my pinky and I couldn't get up and like get my alarm. It was terrible. Anyway. And I woke up, and when I was done, and when I like actually woke up from that nap because I went back to sleep, I was like sweating. And like I shouldn't have been sweating, but it was like my body was like so freaked out. Anyway, it's really scary. But I do wonder that sometimes, like sleepwalking and sleep paralysis and all that stuff, it's really scary. Okay, let's do one more. This one is called My Encounter with the Supernatural. It's by Victor Prometheus. All right, here we go. This is the last one, I think. All right, just to be clear, I do not believe in ghosts or the supernatural. I'm sure there's a perfectly logical and scientific explanation for what I experienced that day. This sounds like me. Maybe auditory hallucinations or bounced echoes or whatever. So long ago, when I was in 9th, I used to stay in a hostel with some of my closest friends. One day, as I was returning from regular after-school study sessions, I heard someone sobbing from inside a classroom I was just passing by. I recognized it. It was my then female best friend. We'll call her Rena. The crying was loud, but you know, as a teenage boy, I didn't really know how to handle the situation. I didn't know whether to go in and console her or just to wait outside and give her space. I just waited, maybe for like a minute. Then I thought maybe I should go in just to make sure things aren't too bad. The cryings weren't getting any quieter. Just as I was about to walk into that classroom, someone yelled my name from behind me. My body went cold with shivers. It was Rena's voice. I turned around instinctively. I don't like this. I don't know like which one is her. Ew! I'm gonna place my bets now. Wait. Oh, he said it at the beginning, huh? It's the one that just called after him. Wait, what? No, hold on. Wait, the crying. I'm so confused. Hold on. It was her. She wasn't crying. She was smiling. She waved her hand and came up to me. I couldn't move. It was like my brain had experienced something impossible. She asked me what I was doing, and it was only then I realized that the crying from inside the room had stopped entirely. I didn't tell her what had just Oh, Kitty? I can't see. It's too dark. She asked me what I was doing, and it was only then I realized that the crying from inside the room had stopped entirely. I didn't tell her what I just witnessed. I just quietly entered the room, turned the lights on, and looked around. No one. As I was ready to leave, Rena came to come into the room. She looked around for a sec and squealed in excitement. She had found her lost pair of shoes, her white school shoes. It was at the far corner of the room, flipped upside down. She still has no idea how it got there. Oh, edit, in our culture, flipped shoes or slippers are said to attract misfortune. Whoa. Ooh, I don't like that. So in my head, I'm like, two things. Both supernatural interpretations, but like one could be like the crying inside is this premonition for her because it's her voice that's crying. And then 2 could be like something was trying to lure him in. And then when real Rena came up and like cleared things up, the thing got upset and turned the shoes upside down because it was mad at Rena for like interrupting. I don't know. That's spooky. Those are my interpretations.